Hello. Thank you all for being here. We're about to start. My name is Shay, and I'll be leading these chats today. If you can hear me, just say hello in the chat so I know you can hear me. If you can hear me clearly, just say hello in the chat. All right. Thank you for saying hello, Emmanuel. Thank you for saying hello, Peter, James, Simon. Thank you for saying hello. We are going to wait about 2 minutes. Hopefully more people join. But while we wait, I'll just be talking about the point of being here on this call today and giving you an explanation of why we decided to do this call, which is not something we normally do when we launch our programs. Many people here already know who Zuri and what Zuri is, but I'll still be walking you through the company and what we do and how we do it today on this call. If you can't see the chat box, it means you need to subscribe to the channel so that you can post a chat. If at any point during the conversation you have a question, you have a comment, I have my colleague on the call with me. His name is Damilola. He would be either responding to your questions in the chat or he will send some questions to me to answer. So you can ask your questions in the chat, you can put your comments in the chat, and you can be sure that we are going to monitor it and either respond to it in chat or respond to it by voice. We are going to wait, 1 more minute, hoping that more people join. But thank you all for being here. It's been a while we've had a live call on this channel. We are trying to revive a few things, and we are glad that you decided to join us today. Don't forget to share with people if you know anyone that is supposed to be here that is not here. Just share with them and invite them, remind them of the call that is happening today. We'll be starting in a few minutes, just waiting for more people to join so they don't miss too much. If you already know about Zuri, you would know that we didn't have, a cohort like this last year. So I will be I'll be explaining why and hopefully trying to help everyone to understand the new structure that we have on ground. So let's just wait 1 more minute for people to join, then we'll start. Okay, so I think we can start now. Um, if you are just joining, I was saying that my name is Shay, and I will be the one leading the chat today, just trying to explain to you who we are and what we are intending to do for this 2024 cohort. I was also saying that if you have any questions, you can post it in the comment section. You might notice that there is a bit of a delay. There's a slow mode activated on the chat. It means you can't post too many comments. So you have to wait, I think, a few seconds before you can post another comment. So take notes of the things you want to post and just post them as the time allows you to post. Right, so I'll go right into talking about Zuri and what we do. Zuri, as some of you might already know, is a company registered in Nigeria, and our focus has been for the past few years. We registered the company in 2020. Our focus has been attempting to help the average Nigerian African youth access the level of tech training they will normally not have access to, possibly due to lack of funds or just due to lack of access. So what we do is to remove the barrier that the average person in Africa will face when it comes to learning or getting into tech. Some of those barriers, like some of you already know, would be things around entrance examination or the high fees that people have to pay to learn tech, uh, or just distance, from the learning schools. So what we do is to remove those three major barriers that people have. Our courses until 2023 were 100% free for anyone that wants to join. Uh, we do it 100% online, so you don't have any issues with distance from the learning centers. And then thirdly, we don't do any entrance exams. So that allows us to be able to impact a lot of lives and help people get into tech, get them started, and help them to grow as they continue to move forward. So that's what we do at Zuri. We focus a lot more on Africa, but we also accept students from all over the world. For example, a couple of years ago, we trained students in America. About 192 of them graduated, and many of them are currently working in several companies in the USA. We've trained students all over the globe, and we have students from every part of the world. So if you are here, you're not from Africa, don't feel like, oh, this is not for me, this is for Africans only. The opportunity is open to everyone because our interest really is to help the average person have access to things they will not have access to. Questions that we've gotten so far will be around how do you make sure that an online training is an effective training? This is a very popular question. So one of the barriers that we take out from tech training is we don't do any physical classes. So anybody can attend our class from online. And the reason why we do that is, like I mentioned earlier, to remove the barrier of distance from those who want to get into tech. So how do we make sure it's effective? We have what we call a learning management system developed by us that helps us to organize assignments, organize classes, schedule classes, give feedback to assignments, grade assignments, and so on and so forth. So these tools that we have developed has helped us to be able to carry out these trainings effectively, unlike what others do. So, thank you for being here. I was just explaining what we do at Zuri and what we've been able to achieve so far. So the question of how do you do your training effectively, even though it's online fully? We have teachers who are assigned to specific tracks, and those teachers are usually available to answer questions. Each track, when I say a track now, I mean each course. For example, front-end development is a course which we call a track. Back-end development is a course, we call it a track. So each of those tracks gets teachers assigned to them, and those teachers will then be the ones responsible to answer questions you might have. We also do live classes like this one you're attending right now. So we do a lot of classes like this that allows you to interact with the teacher. Sometimes you're given the chance to join Zoom. Sometimes you will have to just join on YouTube like what we are doing right now. So that gives us, that gives you the access to the tutors directly. We also do record videos. If you check our YouTube channel, you will see hundreds of videos that were recorded in the past. Sometimes we record specific videos based on specific requests from students. So if you have a concept that you don't fully understand, you can request for further explanation, and then we either record a video for you just for that purpose, especially if we know that there are others that have similar questions. So we record a video and post it so that others that have similar questions can get answers. And sometimes we host a one-on-one. You just have a conversation with your tutor and they answer the questions you might have. So that's what we do. That is, the purpose of the existence of Zuri. Now, to the question of why we are on this call today, we are making some changes to the structure that we normally follow. Like I've just explained now, the structure that we usually follow, we are making some changes to it, which is why we have decided to have this call to give everyone an opportunity to answer questions, to give us the opportunity to properly explain to you what we intend to achieve by making the changes that we've made, and then to carry everybody along, manage expectations, and make sure that whoever registers for the course understands what they are getting into and knows what they will be getting back from us. So that's why we are doing this event today. The purpose is just to explain to you the new structure and then give you a chance to ask questions if you do have any questions. If you have any questions, like I've mentioned earlier, you can post it in chat. My colleague Damilola is on the call. His name is Damilola Emmanuel. You will see him on the chat and he would answer some questions or send some of them to me to answer for you. Right, so I've talked to you about who Zuri is and what we used to do. Now let's talk about a few more details about what we used to do. In the past, what we normally do is we open our registration to everybody. We announce it everywhere. People register, and we invite everybody to join the call. To join the course. So one of the problems that brings, which some of you on this call who have joined our program before will realize, is that one of the problems that brings is that those who are not really interested in the course also join the course. Number one, because it was absolutely free for the students. And number two, because we admit everybody. So that makes it impossible to truly remove those who are not really interested, who don't have the passion, who are just coming to either cause a nuisance or to distract others, which is something we have had to battle it for a while. So we are trying to fight that and stop that now. That's one of the changes we have made, which I'll be explaining later. So after we launch registration, this is the old way. We accept everybody on the call. We allow everybody to register for whatever course they want. And most of the time, we allow them to register for multiple tracks and multiple, courses without really checking if they have the ability to do those courses at the same time or to complete them. And that really affected our numbers. So we do get a lot of registrations, a lot of people that are joining the program, but we've had to struggle a lot with people that actually complete the training, which is something we are trying to change now. And that's one of the reasons we have made the changes we've made, which I'll be explaining later. Another issue that we used to have in the past was when people join the training, they quickly get overwhelmed. For example, in one of our cohorts, we had 32,000 students. People join and they quickly get overwhelmed. There are those who are in the training who are already familiar with concept, and they seem to over intimidate people. So the new beginners and the novices just get intimidated out of the training, which is not what we want. We want everybody to be comfortable enough to be able to learn at their own pace and to grow as they want to grow. So the old way has had a lot of problems that we have attempted to fix in different ways. It's been impossible so far. And the changes we've made now will allow us to fix those things easily, which I'll be explaining very soon. Now, another thing that we used to do in the old way is that even though the training has always been 100% free to students, somebody was paying for it. Okay. Nothing is absolutely free, honestly. But in the past, somebody paid for the training, somebody paid for every student that we get, and then we are able to train them. But that will be changing, and I'll be explaining, the changes now. One of the problems that happens when people don't pay for training is there's usually a lack of commitment on their part because there is hardly anything to lose. And they feel like, look, I will just join the training next year again and do it again. And that's not something we want to continue to happen. We don't want people that keep coming for training and keep coming for training without really growing and improving their career and moving forward. We don't want you to get stuck in just doing training and doing training. So the changes we've made will allow us to also help you to push forward in your career, not doing the same level of training over and over again. I mean, of course, if you've done a particular track in the past, for example, if you've done front end in the past and you just want to try your hands on back end, that's absolutely fine. But it would be irresponsible of us to keep admitting you if you keep doing front end at each cohort to be responsible of us. So those are some of the changes that we have decided to make so that we can have, the kind of impact that we want to have, not just people recycling and keep learning the same thing over and over again. Uh, on a lighter mode, there are those who also joined the training in the past just because they've done it before and they want to come in just to intimidate others. We want to also stop all of that because, again, our focus has been impact. We want to have impact on as many lives as possible, and especially those who do not have access to it. And then lastly, the issue that we've had in the past has been allocation of resources. So based on everything I've said, we allocate resources. When I say resources, I mean mentors and tutors to people based on the number of people that we have. If you have a cohort that has 15,000 people and you have a cohort that has 1,000 people, you would all agree with me that those in the 1,000 cohort will have a lot more access to the resources available than those in the 15,000 cohort. So that's one of the problems of running free trainings. People just join and then you have to worry about allocating resources. You don't want to allocate a resource to somebody who doesn't really need it. You want to allocate resources to those who truly need it and try to drive home the impact that you want to have in their lives. So that's why we're making these changes. That's the old way. I will be explaining the things that have changed in the new way. But before I do that, let me just talk about the website you're looking at right now. So our website, Zuri.team, that's our official website. Everything that we do will usually be posted on our website or on our social media link. If you don't have our social media, I'm sure we will announce it after this call, but we have a Twitter account, we have a YouTube account, we have LinkedIn. We do not have Instagram and we do not have Facebook. So anything about us that you see on Facebook or on Instagram must be a very old one or must be fake. So don't accept anything you see on YouTube or sorry, on Facebook or Instagram as from us. Please check on our official channels, which is our website, Twitter or YouTube. Those are the places or LinkedIn also. Those are the places where we really post updates. But we are a lot more active on Twitter. And if you also want to reach us, there is a website we call Zuri Team Link, where you can see all of our pages. So anything that is not linked on this page that you're looking at right now is not from us. Don't believe them, don't accept them. Anything that is not linked on this particular page is not from us. And it's important to put that one in out there because we've had a lot of people trying to divert some of those interested in our training to other places. And this happens also even after you join the training, which is why one of the reasons why we've decided to make the changes that we've made to limit the kind of unserious minds that join the training. Okay, so the website that I want to talk about is this website, our official website. If you want to find out about any of our currently running training, you go to the trainings page. The page contains all of our available training and you get all the information you need there. This is what I typically advise anybody that joins any of our training, is to try and go through every piece of information about the training and try and understand what you're getting into. There are those who expect that after I complete this training, I'll become a professional developer. We never promise that you as a novice will spend 3 months learning from us and you become an expert. No, we don't promise that. I will still be talking a lot more about the kind of certification that we give. We are not promising you that you'll be the best at the field. We're not promising you that. That requires a lot of effort and time. What we are promising is that we'll give you enough information, enough support, and step-by-step guide on how to get started. At least for this particular training, this particular kind of training that we're talking about now, that's what the focus is. It is for beginners and for those who are no longer beginners but wish to learn a few more things. Like I mentioned earlier, for example, you've done front end before, but now you want to try your hands on back end. That's who this training is for. So make sure you are not one of those that just go on the website and just apply and hope for the best. Make sure you understand what we are offering so that you don't feel disappointed if you don't get what you expect to get. There are those who have come to also accuse us of not giving them jobs after their training. We never promise to give you jobs. Again, what we promise is that we'll give you enough information for you to learn enough to get you started in tech, and so that you can grow from there, either on your own or by enrolling for our next level of training. Okay, So that's what this is. This is what our website is. And I'm going to the next page now, which is the training page. I mentioned earlier that to get information about trainings, you click on training on our website, which brings you here. There's a lot of information here, but it's not specific enough because it tells you about all of the available trainings that we have. And if I scroll down, you will see that we have a beginner to intermediate training, and then we have a continuous development training. Those are the two available options for now. Any other training you see anywhere else, it's not for us. And at the moment, we have no internship roles. You will see there are no internships on our website. So anybody that claims to do internship under Zuri is not for us. So please note that every information we have on our website is what you should believe. Right. So this is the training that we want to talk about today. And I will go to the website now, which I've already opened on the new tab. So this particular training is for beginners, as you can see in the name. It's for beginners and intermediate. That's for those who, so a beginner could be a novice, somebody who has never done tech before, but is interested in tech and has the passion. But you must have basic computer operation. When I say novice, I don't mean somebody who doesn't know how to open Microsoft Word or who doesn't know how to type ABC on the keyboard. It will be impossible for you to cope with the training, just to be sincere with you. There are those in the past who are, not expert at computer operation and have survived, but at least you must have basic computer operation knowledge. You must understand what it means to open a software. You must understand what it means to click on a mouse, right click and left click, and you must be able to use your keyboard. That's important to note. So when I say a novice or a beginner, I don't mean those kind of people. I mean somebody who's already familiar with the usage of a computer, but now is looking into, getting beyond the user level and being a sort of a manufacturer of one of the things that works on the computer. So that's what all this training is for. I would recommend that you go through the website. If at any point you find any problem with any information that we offer, or you feel like it's not clear, you don't understand it, you can contact us on our help desk. Again, all of our links are on Zuri Team link. Our help desk is here. You can go there and click on submit a ticket and ask questions about the training before you decide to join the training. It's important that you understand fully. So make sure you go through the website, what we are offering. Some of these I've already talked about, but you can also go through it to have a better understanding. In the past, we've done several tracks. We've done mobile track, we've done project management, we've done freelancing tracks, we've done front end and back end and design and research and development, we've done marketing in the past. But for this particular year, this particular cohort, we are only doing 3 tracks. As you can see, we are doing front end, back end, and design. It is also possible that you don't know what these things mean and you don't know what track to join. That's absolutely fine. We have a lot more information about each track. If you click on, so there's a summary right here. If you click on learn more, you'll be able to go to a page that explains each track and what you'll be learning under them. And if you scroll down on the page, you can see those who have done our training before and what they say about the training. I'll still be coming back to the FAQ page, but for now, let's go back to each of the tracks. So we have the front end track and the back end and design track. Each of these tracks are available and you can join as many of them as you believe you can do, but make sure you have the time, the resources, and the energy to complete all the tracks. Because if you join multiple tracks, you will be required to complete all the requirements for all the tracks before you can be considered to have completed the training. Okay, so you can't join front end and back end and decide to finish front end, not finish back end. You have to finish all the conditions attached to graduating from both of those tracks. That's what that means. So we recommend that you make sure you have the time, the resources, and the energy to complete as many tracks as you want to join. It's fine if you want to join multiple tracks, but make sure you have the time, the energy, and the resources to complete them. So for front end track, I'm going to click on learn more. You can see the languages available. We have React.js, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and Vue.js. Unfortunately, this is all we are doing for the year. You can obviously check the website for a lot more information, but I'll go down to what you'll be learning, which is right here. We are going to be teaching you basic software engineering principles. We are going to be teaching you syntax and general knowledge about the computer and how it works. We are going to be talking about software development lifecycle. And then we are going to enter into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, the basic, the vanilla version of all these things. Now, when it comes to React.js and Vue.js, unfortunately, because we have limited time, we will not be teaching you both. You will be required to select either React.js or Vue.js. We will give you basic details about each of them, but you can also check their website. We'll be allowing you to try them out before you make your choice. So we might give you one assignment on React.js and one assignment on Vue.js. So you try both and you will see, okay, I like this one better than this one. This is very, very important because we don't want you to start something that you'll not be able to finish. And again, we have limited time. We don't think that you can learn React.js and Vue.js, HTML and CSS effectively all in 3 months. We do not think so. Because within that 3 months, you'll be required to complete about at least 10 assignments, be required to attend live classes, and you'll be required to work on maybe 2 projects. So imagine if you have to, use Vue.js and React.js for like 4 projects. We don't think it's possible to learn everything in 2 months. So again, you will have to select HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then either React.js on Vue.js or Vue.js. And the rest, everybody will be learning the rest, working on how to convert Figma to how to export from Figma and converting them to actual design, actual development. So you can go to the website and find out more information about the track. But that's all I'll be covering on this page. And then I'll go to the back end page and I'll go to learn more here. So on the back end page, there are a few similarities between the back end and the front end, which is that you will both be learning the introduction to engineering, the basic syntax and basic computer general knowledge. But the difference is backend will not be working on HTML or CSS. They'll be working on JavaScript, Node.js, Express.js. Now, just like the front end track also, you can only select one of these two. Express.js is like a framework for JavaScript, Node.js specifically. Laravel is a framework for PHP. As a backend developer, you can choose any of these two, but you can't choose both of them because just like front end, we don't think you can learn everything effectively in 3 months. Okay. Obviously, everybody will be learning database management and API development, Docker, and all of the other things left on these 2 items here would only be available to those who have shown the ability to understand the principles explained in items 3 and 4. So if you have difficulty passing the assignment that I've been giving you in any of these items, you will not be allowed to touch these 2 items here because we don't want to overwhelm you. We don't want you to learn things halfway. We don't want you to know a little bit about Laravel and a little bit about Docker and a little bit about Ubuntu and get confused after the training. So we'll have to check your scores on your assignment before we allow you to join any of these classes here or before you get assignments in them. Now, even if you're not allowed to join these classes, it would only mean that when you get your certificate, it will not say you did that class, but it will not say that you didn't complete the training because really you completed the training that is allowed for you to complete. Okay, so that's all I'll be covering. You can check the website to find out more about this track. And then we have the design track. Some people call this the product design track or UI UX track, anything you like to call it. That's what this is. We will be focusing mainly on using Figma, but of course, there are other tools that are very similar to Figma, which is, I think, Adobe SD and some other tools out there. But for design, this is what you'll be learning. Unlike the front end and the back end, everybody that joined this track will learn all of this. You will not be making any selections. You will not be choosing between one and one. Everyone that joins the design track will be required to take all of this. Okay, so that's for design. I'll go back now. Again, you can come to this page to find out more. And as you're on this call, you can already go to our website. All of this is live and check them out yourself. If you have any questions while we are on this call, you can ask them in chat. Either Damilola or I will answer the questions. Now, another thing that we've changed, I'm sure you've noticed some changes already based on the way we used to do things and we are doing it now. Another thing we've changed is how you get admitted into the program. In the past, like I mentioned earlier, everybody gets admitted. Everybody, no matter who you are. But that is changing now. While we would admit everybody who decides to join and complete the registration process has now changed a little bit. In the past, all you had to do was to click on apply, you fill a form, and that's it, you're in. But now we have decided to make some changes to that. I also said earlier, for those who are joining earlier, I said earlier that even though in the past, until last year, 2023, all of our trainings were 100% free for the students, somebody was paying for it. So what we have decided to do to fix some of the problems we've had in terms of the kind of person that joined, the passion that they show, and the commitment that we get from these students is to attach a very, very subsidized fee to the training. And that has helped us so far to really limit the people that join, because only those who are truly passionate will be willing to drop even 1 naira of their money to join the training. So if you are passionate about learning tech, if you're interested in moving your career forward, if you're interested in landing that role next year or later this year, then you will not have a problem with paying the highly subsidized fee that we are asking for. Again, as most of you probably know, if we were to put a real value, uh, a cash value to the training we've offered in the past, the amount we're asking for now will make absolutely no sense. And in fact, people have told us that, look, I don't trust your training because it's way too cheap. That's a very good problem. That sounds like a compliment to me, because we want anyone who is interested to be able to join, to be able to complete the training and get their certificate and get their life started in tech. So what we have done is to create a product page. I'm going to that page now. And this is the page. So it's product.zuri.team. If you click on apply here from any of these other pages, it will take you to the product page. But I'm going to be walking you through this product page. And when you get to the page, you can go to the shop and select the track that you want to register for. And as you can see, it will cost 5,000 naira to join any of these tracks. I'm going to take a few minutes to explain that. So again, the 5,000 naira covers the entire training, covers for 3 months, covers access to tutors and mentors and the LMS, everything, covers access to everything. The 5,000 naira also gets you certificates, gets you post-training support, which I'll still be explaining later, gets you everything that Zuri offers, but in a much more structured and better way. That's what it gets you. And again, this is a subsidized fee. Somebody else is paying the rest of it for you. But to limit the kind of person that joins this training, to limit the problems we've had in the past, we decided to attach that each student must be required to pay a certain amount to join, to show us that your commitment. So in the real sense, you're not really paying for the course, you're just paying a commitment fee to say that, yes, I am truly interested in learning this thing, and I'm willing to drop 5,000 of my own money to learn this thing. And that's what this is. So you can select any of these tracks, but please keep in mind, if you select 2 tracks, it means you have to pay for each of them separately. Okay? If you select 2 tracks, you pay for them separately. That's what that means. And again, like I mentioned, if you select multiple tracks, you have to make sure you have the resources, the energy, and the passion to complete all of them. Because if you select back end, for example, and front end, you can't complete back end alone and expect to get certificates, which I'll still be talking about. But when you get to this page, you can also view a lot more information about each of the courses. Many of this information are already on the main website, which I've shown earlier, but you can still find some more information here. If you are having some doubts about what we offer and if we are truly going to be able to do it, you can check out our reviews on different platforms, either on Twitter or on Glassdoor. We have a lot of reviews that we are very proud of. So check it out. To subscribe for any of the courses, you can click on Add to Cart. I'll be walking you through that process very soon, but I'm going to stop here for now. In case there are any questions, again, don't forget you can post your questions on the YouTube chat, and we'll be happy to answer them. If you have trouble completing your purchase on this page, either on your mobile phone or on your tab, please try using your web browser, which brings me to the next point. You will not be able to complete this training on your mobile phone or on your tab. Everyone that decides to join needs access to a computer, a desktop, a laptop, anything, but it has to be a working, functioning computer, number one. And number two, you need access to the internet. like I've mentioned, obviously it's an online training with access to live classes and so on and so forth. So you need data, you need access to internet to be able to follow along with the training. If you don't have access to a computer, I would recommend borrowing, buying, or renting one. And obviously you need internet too. You need proper internet. And it doesn't have to be anything serious because we try as much as possible to keep things simple. For example, if you can't attend a live class because you don't have data, every live class is usually recorded. So this particular call is being recorded and will be available on YouTube. So if you do miss a live class, you can watch it on YouTube. You can even download the class, if that would be cheaper for you. Because sometimes you have to watch a class like 7 times before you truly get it. So we allow people to download and keep it on your laptop, on your phone, watch it when you're going to the office, watch it when you are, I don't know, at church or at mosque, if you don't want to pay attention to what they're saying. So, you can download it. We are also very reasonable in how we produce these things. So that is that about this page. I'm going back to the training page to focus a little bit more on some of the questions we've gotten in the past. Oh, before I go into that, I just got a reminder now. So now to get the course, I'm going to finish walking you through this checkout process. So you go to add to cart, you click on add to cart. If you are satisfied with one course, you go to view cart. If you want to add multiple courses, go back to the shop, select another course, or you can scroll all the way down and select another course here. But once you are done selecting the course that you want, you go to view cart, and then you view what you've selected, you make sure everything is fine, and you proceed to checkout. On the checkout page, there are a few things. You can decide to create an account. So yesterday, somebody who sent a message to us that, look, I bought the course, but I'm being asked to log in. I don't have a password. So you can decide to say, create an account for me, which by checking this, and what that gives you is the access to check the course that you bought, and you can download your receipts, you can do all of that. This is not the account to access the course itself. I'm sorry if some people have been confused by this, but this account you are creating here is to just give you access to the shop, to the product page, so that you can see your purchase and you can download your receipts and you can have evidence that you bought it. And if there are things available in this particular page, you will see it there. So you fill in this form and then you go to the payment page. We accept 3 types of payments. We accept the direct bank transfer. You can transfer the payment. You can pay by debit or credit card using Stripe. So what this allows you to do is to pay in other currencies that is non-Naira. So you can pay in USD, in EU, in pounds, or whatever you want to pay in. If you want to pay in Naira, then we recommend using this one to pay in Naira. So you select your payment option and you place your order, and that is all you have to do. Once you are done placing your order, if you pay by direct transfer, we'll get the payment, we would confirm it, and your payment will be, your purchase will be completed, after which you will get emails confirming that you've made the purchase. However, if you have problem completing your payment on this page, completing this purchase, on your phone or any other device, you can try using a different browser. And we decided to mention this specifically because we've gotten comments from iPhone users who say they have trouble completing the checkout from this page. So if you are one of those people that uses iPhone, please just up on your laptop, up on your desktop computer, visit the page and complete your purchase from there. And if for whatever reason you can't complete your purchase on your own, you can reach out to us. We'll do the purchase for you. We've done it for several people. You can, send us a message and we'll do the purchase for you. You make the payment and we'll confirm it right there. And then you can know that everything is done. So that is how that process is. Again, from the training page, from our main website, you go to training. After getting to training, you go to learn more about this particular training that I'm talking about. You can click on enroll now, which takes you to the shop, directly to the shop. You can learn more about the training before you get started. But on this page, clicking on any of these get started will take you to the shop page. Okay. And if you click on apply here, it will take you directly to the front end page where you can just add it to cart and be done with that. So you don't necessarily have to study or go through this entire page. You can just go directly to the product page like I showed earlier. So that is product.zuri.team, and you can make your purchase from there if you already know the track you want to go for. But if you need more information, please, I recommend going through the website and understanding what you are trying to get into. Now, one other thing that has changed in what we used to do in the past, once you complete the training, that's the end. We don't do anything anymore. But that has changed now. Now I'm going to be explaining to you the post-training activities that will be happening. Unlike before, where we just train you and we say bye-bye to you, now we are going to be giving you some follow-ups. And some of the things that we'll be doing, I'll be mentioning them and I'll explain them. If you have any questions about them, please send a message on chat and I'll respond to them. So one of the things that I'll be doing will be post-training training. I don't know if that makes sense. So there is something we call continuous training development. I'm going to the training website now. If you come down here, you will see what is called continuous training development. At the moment, this is not available. So I know we've been getting registrations, but this is currently on hold. We informed everyone last year that this is currently on hold. It will only be available after the first cohort of this training finishes. So, but that's what we offer now. We offer what is called continuous training development. And you can go through the website to understand what it means, but it's just a way for us to help you to sharpen your skills. So you've learned the basic thing. Now we are going to be helping you to grow in those things. You are going to be getting thorough feedback from really highly placed individuals in the industry. They're going to be telling you what you can do with your CV, how you can land that role. They're going to be recommending you for jobs. And now we are also going to be knowing more about you in terms of your skill set and helping you to grow. So that's one thing we'll be doing now after the training. We'll be doing what is called continuous training development. That's CDT. Again, the details are on the website. You can check it if you want to check it now. It's not available now. If you register on the website now, we have your information, but you can't start yet until after this cohort is completed. Okay, we've been getting registration, which is fine, but you can't start yet until after this cohort is completed. Now, another thing that is changing is the CDT training. Of course, this particular call is not about CDT training, but I'm going to be talking about it just a little bit. The CDT training is no longer going to be absolutely free for you, for the students. We are attaching a little fee to it, just like we are doing for the training itself. We'll be telling you a lot more about it, but the CDT, continual training development, that used to be free, will no longer be absolutely free to you because you will be required to pay a highly subsidized fee compared to the value you're getting, it's highly subsidized. Right, so that's that about CDT. So that's what happens after you've joined the training. After you completed the training, we give you the option to select to join CDT, or you can also decide that, look, now I'm ready for jobs. We also add you to our job board. There's a job board that we'll be sharing with you once you complete the training. We add it to the job board, and the focus of the job board is to share with you job opportunities in different places. And then you can apply to them. We also help you to apply to some of them. We also help you to prepare your CV. Now, we are not promising you that after the training, I'm going to say this, we have said it before. We are not promising that we'll give you a job after the training. We are saying that we'll present to you opportunities to apply for some jobs. We'll give you support. We'll give you mentorship. We'll help you to work on your CV. But landing the job still has to be the effort from you combined with the support from us. Okay, so don't sit down and expect that, oh, I'll be getting a job from Zuri. That's not the case. Okay, so that's one other thing we'll be doing after the training. So two things I've mentioned now. Number one is we'll be allowing you to join CDT if you want to. Number two is we'll be adding you to our job board where we can present different job opportunities. And then the next thing is that we'll be So after the training, you would also have access to a pool of mentors. We've announced several mentors who will be working with us and counselors who will be working with us for this particular cohort. We have somebody who works at Apple. We've announced him. John works at Apple. We have several people work in different places across the globe, both in Nigeria, in the UK, in the US. So you have access to those mentors even after the training. And the wonderful thing is during the training, for each month, you will get at least 6 hours of access to these people. And what that means is they will come on the call, they will listen to you talk about issues, they will address them, they will answer your questions about your career, about how to land a job in, for example, a place like Apple, Amazon, and so on and so forth. They would explain to you their own process and how they got to that to work for those companies. That's one thing you'll be getting during this training. For 5K, that's definitely a steal. So that's another thing you have access to. After the training, you have access to these people where you can send them a message and they will respond to you easily. So people you might not really have access to normally, people you might not be able to chat with normally, you have access to them after you complete the training. So those are some of the new things that have been introduced post-training support. Those are the things we've introduced, and everyone that completes the training will have access to these things I've mentioned. Okay, again, if you have any question, you can always ask. I'm just going to check my notes if I've missed anything out of the things I'm supposed to talk about. Damilola, I don't know if you have any questions right now. If there are any questions you want me to answer, please send them to chat and I will respond to them. I don't have any right now, so I believe everything is going smoothly on YouTube. All right, so another thing that happens after training is this is under continuous development, but we give you projects to work on. One of the issues that people have had in the past is they as beginners, it's difficult to learn the role. I'm currently working with a beginner UI UX designer. One of the issues that she has had so far has been landing a role because many companies don't want to dedicate time to a beginner. Okay, so you need to grow your CV, you need to work on projects, you need to grow your experience so that when you are applying for jobs, you are not applying as a beginner, you're applying as a proper designer or developer or whatever you want to call it. It might be a junior developer or a junior designer, but it's not a beginner anymore. Okay, so that's another thing we do after the training. We give you projects to work on so that you have some things to add to your CV. Right. After the training, also, we give certificates. I'm going to explain properly so that I can address some issues we've had in the past regarding certificates. So there's a difference between certificates that we give, which is two options, certificates of participation and certificates of completion. The first one, certificate of participation only means that you joined the training, you couldn't finish it, but we give you certificates. And you can only get that if you complete at least one assignment. So, paying and joining the class doesn't mean you get participation. It means you completed at least one assignment. That means we know you truly participated. The second option of certificate that we have is the certificate of completion. Now, it is only when you complete all the criteria for the track or the tracks that you select that you get this certificate. And the criteria is, I would recommend you check the website, but you have to complete all the assignment and pass them. I mean, you don't have to pass all the assignment, but there is going to be a mark that you have to get. For example, a couple of years ago, we had 70% as the minimum mark for you to get a certificate. So if you don't get 70%, you will not pass. You will not get certificate. So for this time, we are going to be announcing it when the program starts. So you have to get the assignments, make sure you pass as many of them as possible to make the cutoff mark. You have to also complete your project and make sure you pass your project. And then make sure you attend as many classes as possible before you can get certificate of completion. If you don't meet all the required criteria, you would only get certificates of participation. So you will be at the same level with those that just did one assignment and did two assignments and didn't do any projects. If you don't complete all the criteria required, you would only get certificates of participation, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It only means you couldn't pass at this time. Again, you can join another cohort if you want. So there's a difference between those certificate options that we offer and what is called a certification. What we offer is a certificate that says, number one, this person did our training. Number two, this person completed our training. Okay? We are not saying you are an expert in front-end development or back-end development. It is not a certificate of expertise. Okay? We are not certifying you as a front-end developer. I've seen people add our certificate on LinkedIn and added it as part of certification. That is not the case. We are giving you a certificate of completion or participation. It is not a certificate of your expertise. However, post-program support that we offer also includes reference and recommendation letters. So we keep meticulous record of your engagement in our courses. We know how long you spent to submit an assignment. We know all of those information. So if you require for us to give you recommendation or reference, we provide that only to those who complete the training. Okay, so those things are very important. If you are confused about any of them, please send a message and we'll respond to them. I just got a message that there's a question that needs to be answered. Yes, okay. So I'm going to read the message and then answer it. The question has been around deadline for registration. Right, so that was going to be my next point. This course is going to be starting in March. The specific date will be announced on Twitter. We are still working with some of the counselors and mentors to know their schedule. But it's going to be in March, possibly middle of March or anything before after that. So registration will remain open until first week in March. So just put that at the back of your mind that registration will be open until first week in March. And we understand that many of you are salary earners, you have your budget, you can't just drop 5K like that, which is fine, absolutely okay. But registration will remain open until first week in March. So you have about 1 month to raise 5K. If you put 100K somewhere, 100, I say 100K, 100 naira somewhere every day, you'll be fine, okay? So you have 1 month to register. Unfortunately, we will likely not keep registration open after the cohort starts because we want everybody to start at the same time so that we don't have people lagging behind, which is a problem we've had in the past. People joining late and then asking what is happening here. People not joining the orientation or the kickoff events. Okay, so the beginning of March is the first week in March is the last week of registration. So prepare your mind and register before then. Another question is the registration form out? Yes, it is available now. I'm going to be posting, I think I already posted that, but I'm going to be posting that in the chat now. That is the link to register. You can select any of the courses and proceed with registration. That's open now. When does the course begin? I already answered that. It's going to be in March. Registration ends in the first week in March. Yes, so this is a good question. Why is mobile development no longer a part of the course Zuri offers? So for now, at the moment, we don't have mobile development in the list of courses, but we are working very hard with the tutors that are available. We are trying to make it available later in the year. So just keep on the lookout, follow our announcement everywhere. We are going to be making mobile development and some other courses available very soon. Okay, we are working on it. We are working really hard to make that available. But if you do want to do mobile development, I will highly recommend that if you're a beginner, I would recommend that you start with front-end development because mobile development is usually a full stack development. So you have to do front-end and back-end for mobile development. And if you don't know anything about those things, you might struggle. So I would recommend, and I think Zoe will recommend that you start with front-end development or do back-end development. And eventually, when the mobile course is available, you can go for that. Okay. So the next question is, if you used to be part of CDT, are we automatically going to be part of the next one, or do we have to reapply? We are going to be sending you an email. You've already applied, you don't have to reapply, but you might need to make some further commitment payment, like I've mentioned earlier, just to make sure you are still interested. You might need to take one more step in that application. But as soon as the CDT course is about to start, we're going to send an email to everyone who have already registered, and then you can decide if you want to continue or not. Okay, another question is, do you assist trainees with structured interviews for each track? Yes, actually, we do provide support, like I mentioned earlier. We provide support when it comes to interviews. We give you feedback on why you might fail an interview, or if you fail, we tell you why you failed, and so on and so forth. We practice with you. We recommend videos. We also give you access to people who have interviewed people in the past. So one of our counselors has been a lecturer in the US for about 20 years. So I'm sure she has done like 1 million interviews. So she would be able to give you advice, look at your CV, look at the quality of work you produce, and tell you what you can do better to land that role that you want. Okay, so I believe I've gone through all the questions that I have here. If there are any more questions, please you can ask, and I'll be happy to answer them. So now I've explained certificate part. Please understand the kind of certificates that we give. We give certificates showing that you've done our training and that you've completed our training. We are not giving you a certificate that shows you're an expert in your field, okay? But our certificate is acceptable anywhere you go to. We are registered, we are okay. It's just that we are not saying that you're an expert at the field that you studied with us. If we do advanced training in future and you complete it, then that certificate will say, yes, this guy is an expert because he has done our advanced training. But this particular course is a beginner course. We are not saying you're an expert yet. We are saying that you've started and you've learned with us, and now you are ready to keep growing from there. Okay. So I will now go to the last point of our conversation today. It's 1 hour, we're almost there, we're almost on. So I'll go back to the training website and I'll go to the FAQ and try to walk you through these FAQs that we already have. The question says, what is the duration of the training? I've mentioned this already. It's for 3 months. Buying this course gives you access to 3 months of training. How much is it? You already know it's 5,000 naira. If you're interested, that's the cost. And again, it is just a commitment fee. The actual training is way more valuable than this, like you would agree. And then the question around your training used to be free. I've already explained this. You can look at the question on your own, but we made this decision to make sure that we only are able to produce quality and give quality to you as a student, and make sure that those who graduate from us are those who are truly passionate about this course and are able to complete it. And also to reduce the kind of people that join. We don't want anyone who is not interested to join, and anyone who is willing to drop 5K from their pocket to join a training will likely want to finish that training. Okay. Our next cohort is starting in March, like I've mentioned. Registration is already open now. I know the paid says it opens in February, but it's already open now. So you can register now. So this is very, very important. I mentioned earlier that you can join multiple tracks if you believe you have the time, you have the energy, and you have the resources. For each track, we recommend you dedicate at least 12 hours of learning per week. This is what we recommend. Of course, a person who is already familiar with some concept might not need up to 12 hours for those things, but this is what we recommend. So make sure if you are doing 2 tracks, you can somehow find a way to do 24 hours per week dedicated to learning. Now, remember, that is dedicated to learning. Your assignments might take you longer to complete. That is not part of this. So please consider all of that before you join multiple tracks. The next question says, what are the things I need to participate? I've mentioned this. You need a computer and internet access. And actually, you need a functioning email address because most of our information will come by email, okay? And then you need a phone number so that when we decide to create a group for you, you can join those groups. Right, I've mentioned this also. We do not guarantee job placement, okay? We will give you all the support that we can give in terms of interview, CV review, and all of that. We'll even post jobs and give you further training, but we are not saying that we'll give you a job after the training. We are saying we'll do all we can to help you get a job. Right, so this is important to us because we've had this issue in the past. What happens if I pay and eventually cannot join the training? If you have not joined the training at all and you inform us ahead of time, we can allow you to use that payment for another course, or we can send you a refund. Okay? But if you pay and you join the training, even if you've not really completed any assignments, as long as you've joined the training, you cannot get a refund. Okay? So if you are committed to starting and finishing, please make sure you join. If you are not sure yet, it's fine. Don't have to pay yet. You can wait. And by the way, if you are on the checkout page, if you are not sure yet, you can decide to do by direct transfer and and register your interest in the training, and then you pay when you are sure. If you don't pay, we will not assume that you're going to join, okay? But we are going to assume that you are likely going to join. Okay. All right. So moving on, what happens if I join the training but become inactive? So this is something we've had in the past where people join because it was free and then they just disappear and they ghost the training. If that happens, if you join the training, we will do all of our best to support you. We'll send follow-up emails, we'll send follow-up messages, we would even send a mentor to you to check on you. But if you become inactive, you cannot get a refund, and then we will block you from joining our training until like I think 1 year later. I'm not sure if it's 1 year or 2 years. But if you become inactive, and it's not due to some medical or authentic reason, we would have to stop you from joining future trainings. Okay. No, we will not reject your application as long as you meet all the criteria that we've set. So the question says, can my application be rejected even after paying? We will likely not reject your application, but if we realize that you are joining for malicious reasons, I'm not sure what that means, but that's the agreement we've had. Or if you have been blacklisted in the past, which is a thing, by the way, we have a list of those who will never allow to join our training. We will not allow you to join, we'll refund your money. And even if you pay and you join the training and you don't follow the rules, for example, you are harassing people, you are looking for, you are causing a nuisance in the training, we will likely ask you to leave the training. Okay. What will I get after completing the training? I've already talked about this, but you can also check it. We have post-training support, we have certificate to give, we have continuous training development that you can also join. Now, this is an important question. Can I switch track after starting with one track? Yes, technically the answer is yes, but there's a limit to when you can switch, and we'll announce it. We'll announce when track switching stops, and we'll announce when it starts. So you can, some people don't know what these things mean for now. So they join the training and they realize that, oh, I'm not really interested in this. I want to do that. It's fine. We allow you to switch track and you won't have to pay any extra money. Okay. But there's a limit. You can't wait until the middle of the training and say, oh, I want to switch on that track. That's not going to be allowed. Okay. So we'll announce this to those who subscribe and then we'll let everybody know. I've already answered this question, so I will not be going over it. The question is your certificate globally recognized? Yes, it is. That's the answer to that. But you can go in there to check for more details. Okay, I have a couple of more questions in chat. I'm going to answer them now. Is it advisable to learn front end as a beginner in the space of 3 months? And how can I learn back end if I want it to? Right. If you're a complete beginner, I would absolutely advise that you don't do 2 tracks just yet. I would advise you start with 1 track. It doesn't matter which track, honestly, because all of them have equal level of difficulty for a beginner. Okay, so if you are a beginner, just select 1 track, either front end or back end or design, whatever your interest is. You can do a little bit of research about each of them and see which one you want to start with. I would not be recommending one specific one, but I would recommend starting with 1 if you're a beginner. But if you have some previous knowledge of maybe front end, you can choose front end and back end just to gain a little bit more knowledge in both tracks. But don't forget, you have to complete all the requirements for both tracks before you can get your certificate. Otherwise, you would only get certificates of participation. So if you choose 2 tracks and you complete requirement for 1 track, but not the second one, it wouldn't matter. You would only get certificate of participation. And that is because regardless of how many tracks you take, you would only be getting 1 certificate. But the certificate would show how many tracks you took and the level of knowledge you have. And our certificate also comes with a verification page. So that would also show. It will show everything you learned and what you scored. We also have what we call a transcript that you can request for. Most of these things will be posted on Twitter. We'll be announcing some of the features that you will be getting from our LMS. But there is a way you can request for your transcript where you can see all of your information, the scores that you got, the comments from the tutors, and so on and so forth. So again, don't choose multiple tracks if you're a complete beginner. Choose 1 and go from there. The next question I have is, okay, so the question was from Barry. So Barry, that's the answer to your question, which is that don't choose multiple tracks if you're a complete beginner. Okay. Right. So we've addressed all the questions that we have. I will just go over a few things I've said I believe needs to be talked about again. Don't forget that anything that you don't see on our website or on our Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn account, it is not from us. Anything that is announced in any WhatsApp group, anything that is shared on any pages that is carrying the name Zuri, if it is not on our official pages that I've mentioned, it is not from us. If you do get any information that you want to verify, the best way to verify is to reach out to us either on Twitter, or you can use our help desk. To get our help desk, this is the link here. It is helpdesk.zuri.team. And from this page, you can create an account, you can contact us, and we'll respond to every ticket that we get. We will respond to every ticket, okay? So make sure you go to the training website to understand what we are offering. Make sure you select this beginner one and go through each of the tracks to understand what they contain before you make your selection, before you make your choice. Now, I have one more question before I go to the last thing on the agenda, which is very exciting for me. Okay, the question is, if you select the front-end track and the main thing you want to learn is HTML and CSS and JavaScript, but you also want to choose one course in backend, right? Unfortunately, this is not available at the moment. We are trying to avoid confusion. So you have to choose a track to learn that track. You can't choose one track, for example, front end, and then decide to learn SQL from another track. Later this year, we are going to be making available, this is an expo, but later this year, we're going to be making available short courses. So for example, we are going to have something like SQL as a course on its own. We're going to have in WordPress development as a course on its own. So later in this year, that will be available but for now, for this particular available course, you have to select the track to be able to learn the things under that track. You can't mix two tracks together and learn the things you want to learn. Okay, so the last thing, since there are no more questions, the last thing I would like to share with you, I know some people will have left the call by now, which is fine, is the available scholarships that we have. I know I've not said anything about it, but yeah, we have scholarships available. And let me tell you why we have them available. We understand there are those who are truly interested, but they just really sincerely cannot afford to pay that money. Okay. I know the country is difficult, the world in general is going through a difficult stage. So I know the country is difficult. So we decided to do this. We have scholarship for about 150 people. And what that means, I'm going to explain. Don't decide yet. I'm going to explain what it means. It is a post-enrollment scholarship. So a post-enrollment scholarship means you've already enrolled, you've paid the full payment, you've gotten into the program, you've completed at least one assignment, and then you apply for the scholarship. And what the scholarship means is that we'll give you a refund of part of the money that you paid. So I'm going to give an example. If I, Sheyi, decide to join backend development, and I know I can't truly afford to pay that money and afford the kind of data I will need for the first month of training, okay? I can't pay 5K and then buy data of 3K. I can't afford it. So what I will do is I'll pay the 5K, enroll for the training, quickly complete my assignment once I join the training, and make sure I'm part of the first 150 people to complete my assignment. And then request for a scholarship. And the scholarship will get you a refund of about 2,000 naira of the 5,000 that you paid. Okay, so that's what is available. Unfortunately, we only have that available for 150 people. If more comes in, we'll announce, because the scholarship is actually thanks to our alumni who said, look, some people can afford this, let's pay for some of them. Okay. So if more of our alumni says, I want to pay for this person, I want to pay for that person, we'll be announcing as more open up. But for now, we only have 150 slots available. And again, you have to be registered as part of the first 150 people. You have to complete your first assignment as part of the first 150 people before you can apply for the scholarship. Because we will go from top to bottom based on your registration and when you complete your first assignment. And once we get to the last person on 150%, we would stop giving the scholarship, which is a refund of part payment of the amount that you paid for the training. Okay, I know that's a lot of information. We are going to be publishing a few posts about it on our website and on Twitter and on LinkedIn to help you to have something to refer back to. This call is also being recorded, so you can come back to YouTube and check it out later to understand a little bit better. But those are the things that are available. And hopefully, I've been able to explain to you the difference between what we used to do and what we intend to do now. Okay, we have announced a lot of people that will be working with us as part of the counseling team that will be providing support to the students that join the training. We have also mentioned that we have very limited slots. We are not going to be admitting 30,000 people like before. We'll not be doing that. We'll be admitting, I think, less than 2,000. But only the first 150 persons that have registered and complete their first assignment will be able to request for a partial refund of the money they paid. Okay. I think that's all that we have to cover for today. We are a bit beyond the time scheduled, but I believe we covered all that we needed to cover. If you want to register, you can go to the website to find out more information. The website is zuri.team, and you can just go to the training link up here. If you want to go ahead and buy the course without going to the website, you can go to product.zuri.team and you can make a purchase. If you know you'll be joining the training, but you don't have the money right now, you can go to the product page, select the course that you want to do, go to checkout, and select pay by direct transfer. Okay, this way we know that you're interested. We know that you will be paying later, and we know that you're part of the first 150 people. Okay, because if you intend to apply for the scholarship, you have to be part of the first 150 people and that registers and that completes the assignment, because we only have scholarship for 150 people and we have to go from top to bottom. Okay, so if you would be interested in the training but you don't have the money right now at hand, just go ahead and register and click on direct bank transfer. Once you do that, you'll get the bank details to pay, and when you pay, we'll confirm the payment and complete your order for you. Okay, so that is the changes that we've made in the structure of the training. In terms of the classes, just one last thing to answer. In terms of the classes, we do both live classes and recorded videos. We do live classes and recorded videos. And we don't have, so it's a very, very flexible training. If you check the website, you'll find out more information about it. And what that means is we expect that there are those who are currently working, who do 9 to 5, who are supposed to the office in the morning. Regardless of when we try to fix the live class, there is a high chance that not many people will attend, who can attend, even if they want to attend. So all live classes are recorded. And even if you have a question about the live class that you couldn't attend and you watch the video and you have some questions, you can always reach out to your colleagues who attended the class, who understand better, or ask any of the tutors. So this is one other thing that we do, which is still the same that we do now. Even we do it before, we still do it now. We create a community around each cohort. So you get a chance to interact with everybody learning in your track. You get a chance to interact with everybody learning in the cohort, in your track. You can ask them questions, you can help people out, people can help you out. That way you will also form a community around, community of learners, because one of the things that is difficult when you're learning is, number one, mentorship. Number two, to have fellow learners to interact with. Okay, so if you have people around you who are interested in tech and don't know how to get started, this is the perfect program. Both of you can, or all of you can register together. One last thing I would like to say before we end the call would be, if you belong to a community and you would like to join in selling the course to them or sharing the course with them, just reach out to us on our help desk or on Twitter, and we will get you set up. Getting you set up means we'll help you with every material that you need to announce the course to them, and then we'll agree, if you want, we'll agree on some sort of commission that you get. But this is an optional thing. You don't have to worry about it if you don't have access to a community of people that will be interested. Okay. So thank you all for joining the call. Damilola, if there is no other question, just let me know in the chat so that I don't end the call when there are pending questions. Are there questions, Damilola? Just send me a chat. I'm sure he's checking. Okay, so he's probably checking to see there are questions. But we are, I'm done with every information I'm supposed to give. If you have a question, just ask. No question. All right, that's very good. Okay, hopefully I've been able to explain properly everything that we've planned on doing. From today on, you can start registering for the course. You can reach out to us if you have any questions, but we'll be expecting to see you start the course by March. Before then, we are going to be sending a lot of things to you, which is why we said you need a valid email address. We're going to be sending you access to the learning management system, access to the Slack workspace, access to several resources that we'll be using, and we'll be giving you some preparatory information before you start, things that you need to know. So please make sure you use a valid email address and make sure you check your email, check your junk email. You can also add us as a contact so that when any email that we send, you will get it in your inbox. Okay. Thank you all for joining. And that will be the end of the call for today. Thank you.